Well, good afternoon, one and all. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are watching this broadcast around the world. It's a beautiful day here in Crestone, Colorado, just after our Earthstock Summit. And today we're really focused on a couple things. One is something we spoke a little bit about during the event, the fact that we're going through a major transition on the planet through things like climate change, things related to shifts in the economy and politics and lots of divisiveness. But one of the things we really want to focus on is something that brings us all together. And not only is that embodied in our next speaker, grandmother Gail Thomas, who is a carrier of traditional wisdom, indigenous knowledge, but also with Stephen Fantl, who is one of the masterminds behind the deployment of the love pods, and I'm going to let him talk more about that. But we're going to go over now to Asheville, North Carolina. Of course, most of you are familiar with the devastating effects of the recent hurricane that happened. And we have the benefit to speak with grandmother Gail Thomas, who's kind of really at the epicenter of some of the devastation that's happened there in Asheville, North Carolina. We've been working together for just over a year now, but strangely enough, all these things have come together with our work and our connection and working with Stephen and Love Pods. And we've been able to deploy one of the units down there to get her online. So welcome, grandmother Gail Thomas of the Salagi Woodlands people of North Carolina.
Yo, Ganali. Hello, friends. I'm so happy to see both of you today and so grateful that this little machine, this little thing right here, makes all this possible. I'm here on our sacred mountain, Adagu, which means helping many people. And these two guys have been so helpful getting this device to me. I was up here in the storm, and it was 4 days before the rescue team could even walk in to see us, to see if the 30 homes up here were okay. And then it was over 2 weeks with no food, no water, no electricity, and no communication. And the thing that was hardest for me and all that was the connection with the people that are part of my life. It really was not predictable when I could get a cell call or how much battery I would be able to use and to replenish charging from my laptop storage and all that. And then I got, I got back with most things. Electricity came on and blew out all my high voltage appliances. So it was still another couple weeks. And that brings us to now. I just got this love pod working and tried to do some things on Messenger, some things on Zoom, like we always do in community, our gatherings where we sing and dance and join together and really connect with each other, and people all around the world come together like this, once a week. And that's what I miss the most. And now I'm really excited that this little device will let me get back on the Wi-Fi. And I checked in with my neighborhood email list, and seems like there's not a lot of Wi-Fi working. Some, AT&T creates a ticket and doesn't even call me back, which I can kind of understand. You can see the devastation in the background behind me, and I don't know if you want to see more. There's
Yeah.
way too
Wow.
much. This was my yard. This was the path down to the spring and down to the Napi Sweat Lodge, and it was a beautiful place. I don't know if you can see the gong over there, but can't even walk there now. It's just trees, just down on the ground, and a few more leaning over the house that hopefully will give us some time to take care of them appropriately. But this love pod is making all the difference for me because I can connect with people again. And there was two big landslides up here on the mountain that took out our road for a while. So not a lot of people are coming through. It's it's still a little dangerous. The Department of Transportation is waiting for the geologist to tell them that it won't likely happen again before they truly repair the road in a secure, ongoing way. So things are still a little tricky up here, and it feels so much better to have communications with the people that are part of my life. Thank you both so
Yeah.
much.
And we're so glad you're okay. Fortunately, you live at the top of your the sacred mountain there. So I know a lot of people who were in the canyons and along the rivers and creeks weren't so fortunate. So we're happy that you're safe, still not, in the clear as far as, like you said, even people accessing your location, but at least through, this incredible technology of the love pods, you're able to communicate with the world. And I'm looking forward to, again, we've been starting to restart our weekly Grandmother's Council with Patricia from Brazil, yourself, and many others, and also your Dancing in the Moonlight, where we talk a lot about people's experience on their Earth walk right now. But I want to pivot over, and I will say there's such a line of synchronicity because part of this technology was engineered and developed by an indigenous community for indigenous communities, many which live remotely and don't have access to this type of communication and technology. So it's kind of strangely poetic in the sense that through the Earthstock Foundation and again Love Pods and Stephen Fantl, who's going to speak in a moment, we were able to deploy this first unit in support of you, in support of traditional and the indigenous voices still being heard throughout these, devastating climate change and earth change related events, whether purely through nature and or enhanced by human ignorance. We don't want to debate it. The fact is you're in really this disaster zone. So we're so glad that you're safe and okay. And I want to introduce
Mhm.
now from Love Pods, Stephen Fantl, who'll give us a little bit of the background of how this technology came into being through Indigenous Nation and the chief, and a little bit about the magic of this technology, which not just does communication, but has other elements. So we want to welcome. He's at a conference right now. We appreciate him joining us from Denver, Colorado. Stephen Fantl from Love Pods.
Thank you. And yes, I'm at a conference right now, and some people just showed up right around where I chose to sit, where it was quiet. And so you may hear some background noise. If you look at the back of the box, you'll see inspired by tribes. And that's exactly right. This was created by a chief of the Okanagan Indian Confederacy. They are up near Penticton, Canada. And they're very unique because they're unceded. So they're still a sovereign tribe. They still have retained that. They haven't taken anything from their government, and they are recognized, which is really critical to this whole uh, portion of the Love Pod, which keeps you completely private. When you connect, when Gail's connecting through her phone or her computer and she goes online, um, anything she does is completely protected. She's actually in the jurisdiction of the tribe. She's not in the jurisdiction of a corporate entity under a regular government. So they're not required to keep your data. They don't sell your data, which is part of their recognition of you as a spiritual being as well as a physical being or a legal being, as that's how we're all kind of treated. The technology of this was created specifically to bring those who are underserved by the digital divide without connectivity online, particularly the reservations. Chief grew up initially on a reservation. Later, he was adopted and actually grew up in North Carolina. So we have a lot of people near Gail, that need this because they have lost communications. The 4G towers or 5G towers, the different towers that people rely upon, have been knocked out by the mudslides, just completely taken out. When they had the fires in Hawaii, the fiber optic cables burnt. So they went out. In Florida, I have a number of people who have gotten in touch with us saying, thank you so very much. We're still online, even though We don't have power. We don't have any kind of connectivity because everything was blown over. So the way the devices work is that they first will look for 4G network. Now, in an emergency, the 4G is generally gone. It can then go to emergency bands like FirstNet. It's what the first responders use. Every device also is a mini satellite. So it's creating its own terrestrial network, and it's a private intranet, which is even more cool. So the more we have out there, the stronger everybody's signal becomes. And that's what Gail is using, because she doesn't have regular Wi-Fi where she's at. It's utilizing a distributed mesh network with assistance from satellites, which are beaming down. The devices are very tiny, so they don't talk all the way up to the satellite. They bounce off the different bandwidths that they use, and then they just get stronger and stronger using each other as the nodes in the network. So it's a completely different kind of technology, and unlike Starlink, it doesn't have to be plugged in to use it. You can fit it in your pocket. Gail showed it to you. I mean, I'm holding a whole box. It's a lot smaller, but it just fits in my pocket. So I can take it everywhere with me, and it puts out almost no EMFs. So it's very safe. That's why we use 4G instead of 5G. We're not going to get into the debate whether 5G has any kind of negative effects on your cellular structure. Don't want to make any health claims. We don't need to deal with the FDA on top of all the communication regulators. So that's what the device does, and I'm just glad that Gail and other people have been able to stay online and communicating, and also helping others.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. And again, we want to thank you, Stephen, for the support to help get the unit really quickly to grandmother Gail Thomas in North Carolina in Asheville. And also, I just wanted to thank you. We met recently at the Earthstock Summit, and it was incredible because at that event, we also had the opportunity to connect with Egbert Higinio, who is the president of the Garifuna Nation in Belize. Yep. And of course, they were just hit by another hurricane. So I know you've been working to help deploy some units there, which is exciting, not just for communication, but also the potential of indigenous communities and economic development. So I'm really excited with Earthstock Foundation. I know we've been talking about working on some different funding and grants and how we can continue to deploy and kind of empower people's sovereignty of their ability to be able to communicate. And of course, tracking this back to the Okanagan, to the indigenous nation that brought this technology forward. It's truly groundbreaking. So before we finish, I know people have sometimes limited time or attention spans, and we also appreciate your time there at your convention. But I just want to go back to Grandmother Gail for a moment, and if she had any final words, and maybe even share a very short song, maybe a gratitude song or something to keep the awareness that we're very committed to supporting our indigenous communities and the voices of our wisdom keepers and grandmothers. So welcome back, Grandmother Gail Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Michael. I am so happy to hear that the chief was in North Carolina. It's sweet because we are the people who resisted both removal on the Trail of Tears and the reservation the federal government calls Cherokee by hiding in these mountains. And this is the first time I've seen anything like this in these mountains. So I know we are on the verge of some new things in the collective culture. And I'm so happy that this will allow us to share our experiences with all those who are interested and show people that we are still here, that we hid in the mountains, and we still hide in the mountains quite a bit. Love the mountains, even with all the trees down. They will return, and thank you for helping us. And I'd love to sing this gratitude song that comes to me from the spring just down the hill here. Unkashlaye, unchimalaye, mitak yeo, unchimaka, Mani Uchoni Pilamayaye. Ancestors, grandmothers, please share compassion. All my relations, Grandmother Earth, water is life. We are grateful. Much love and gratitude.
Wow.
To the
Bless
power of
you.
the chainsaws. Yeah, that's the new Asheville vibe. Chainsaws and wood chippers.
Well,
Bless you.
it's amazing to hear the ancient wisdom and the ancient songs brought to the world right now through this modern, groundbreaking technology. So again, thank you, Stephen Yalbert, and all the amazing work that you and the chief are doing. And as you know, we're very committed with Earthstock Foundation to help get these units out. We actually do have other people who are heading towards North Carolina right now that we're in communication with. So, you know, power to the people. And we are finding out that we have to work together as a community in unity and support each other, especially through these times of devastation and earth changes and things that are happening. So thank you. And thank you, Grandmother Gail, for joining us today and for all that you do in our continued broadcast. If people would like more information, you can reach out to earthstockfoundation@gmail.com and we'll connect you with Stephen and we'll get you set up. And I will say, we don't want to say prices per se, but the pods are very affordable, actually much less expensive than most stationary kind of Wi-Fi systems. And this, my partner and I just drove from California to Colorado and we had Wi-Fi most of the way across the Nevada desert and across Utah and even parts of the Rockies. So it's really incredible. Thank you so much, both of you, for your time today.
Thank you, Michael. Bless you, Grandma.
Thank you. Yes, bless you all. Thank you so much.
Bye.